Okay. So this is going to be a little bit different. This may be a little bit different than my typical live streams, but for a few reasons. Number one, the resistance that I felt today towards doing this, it's definitely different than what it's been in the past. It's usually one of those things where like I put it off, but then as soon as I do it, I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I put that off? Right now, I know exactly why I put this off. And I know, and I entitled this live stream "Rigorous Honesty" for a reason. I feel like I was just hit with a ton of bricks that just like true, like just reality, that I'm very thankful for. That, I definitely prayed that God would show me these things. I definitely wanted to see my shortcomings. I wanted to see, the truth, and to see the parts of me that, I needed to work on, and just, like just all of it. And I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for a lot of things. One thing that I'm grateful for is that not only does he do that and gently, reveal to me the things that I definitely need to see, the areas that I'm, lying to myself, and, and the detrimental effect it can have on things very quickly. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful also that he gives me the ability and I'm able to recognize things fairly quickly. I'm grateful that God has given me the ability to admit my faults and admit when I'm wrong, and not just admit it, but be able to see it, and like I said, just kind of recognize it fairly quickly. And I'm very grateful that I don't really treat myself or others in a way that's that there's not a lot of I don't really mind admitting when I'm wrong, because typically it's not like I've attacked somebody or said really harsh things or treated somebody, and then I'm like, after the fact, when I realize I was totally out of line, have a lot of apologies and behavior to, what I mean? It's like, I'm thankful for that, because, and really maybe that's one reason that it's not so hard to admit when I'm wrong, is because, I don't have quite as much to be ashamed of my behavior, but that's not at all to say that I'm anywhere near perfect. And that's what I want to talk about is, yesterday, a lot of what I said in my live stream was about finding my identity in Christ, learning who I am and getting to know that person, and peeling back the layers of, the person that I've, this version of me that's developed over the years, with these, character defects and these, the pressure and like, just the things, the good and the bad things that have kind of like I've let them become part of my identity. And when I say that, like I'm definitely mean like the good and the bad things, because yesterday even I was feeling better than I have in a probably ever. Like today, like halfway through the day, I was like just happier and more, and I felt everything. I felt better about everything today than I ever have in my entire life. Really. And something just flipped, or like something shifted, and I'm still trying to make sense of it, but I think what it comes down to is this. Days like today, I can tell on a very small scale, just the tiny little subtle shifts in my behavior and thought process and um, mood and everything, I can tell that I'm not feeling great about myself. Now, it's something that I've never really, it's taken a long time to see that. And I think that everybody goes through that. I think that we all have highs and lows. We all kind of go through phases, or, like, that's perfectly normal. But I realize that days like today, I don't need to, sorry, I had to text message. I don't need to worry about anybody else. And, well, I don't say worry about anybody else. I most certainly don't need to be giving anybody else advice. And I really don't even need to be spouting off information to people acting like I know things on days like today. Because, for one, I'm just talking I'm just doing the things that I can do to make myself to boost up the parts of me that I feel like make me the version of me that make me feel better about myself. And it's crazy because it's like the behavior is like the things that I can do. Like, I think that there's things that I've done that were genuine and really just maybe they were parts of, just kind of who I am, and it was innocent and whatever, but like there's a difference. I think there's a difference. And I just felt myself today becoming this person that was feeding off of all these little interactions, and and it's not like it, because I'm not really this person that I'm really not this person that goes around and is like, well, you need to, I don't really like point my finger at people and like tell them all these things and try to act like I'm better than them in that sense. But I will be that person that's like kind and kind and attentive, and can just kind of spot that person that's kind of struggling and be a ear that, and just to listen and be there for them, and really just that's all that it is. But it's not real, it's fake. I think today it was fake. I think that I could have easily kept going in the direction I was going because things have been going so well. And I want to talk specifically about as far as it relates to my relationship with God. I've seen time and time again how quickly it can shift, and it no longer is about him. It's one of the things that, it's one of the only things, well, I don't want to say it's one of the only things, it's one of the things that still scares me. I really get very uneasy when I think about how easy it is to make everything about us. Let things go to me. Let me see me. Make everything about me. Let things go to my head. It's like it happens so fast. And it's not because, if I feel bad about myself, it might not be because people are putting me down and saying me something that they could, but I think the reason I felt bad today is because I think that people were kind of building me up, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm not that person all the time yet. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the point that I'm trying to make. I'm close to being that person all the time. And I'm close to being that person without it going in my head, and it being genuine and authentic, and it just being the person that God made me to be, and just someone who is visibly, genuinely living their life for God and just being a positive light for everybody, or people that, when possible. Like, those are all things that I very much strive towards, but I am not there yet. And it's just easy to fall into that because, I've been like, in the past, I've been the problem, like in my family and, just throughout my life, prior to this, I seem to always find myself in these dynamics, like whether it be family or work or friends or whatever, where like I was the problem, like I was that's the only way I know how to put it, I was the one that everybody was taking care of or couldn't rely on, or, they were having to, just like, that's who they made me out to be. So that's who I was. That's how I behaved that way. They treated me like I was like that. And so I became like, or I was like that. I confirmed that, and then I realized that that's really not who I am. And I realized that I shouldn't be around people that, that make me feel that way. So then that was great and that worked for a while. But then it's like, now I've ran in the opposite direction to where I'm around people who think that I'm, they see me in a good way. And it scared me so much to think that I might become one of these people that makes somebody else feel like that. It's hard to say that, but that's the truth. The truth is, today I saw myself as somebody that had it all together more than people, or just rose above all the silly stuff, or I was the kind, understanding person, and or the person that recognized what no one, like yesterday there was somebody that it was like, and I'm not trying to be too harsh on myself, I'm really not, but I'm also being that hard on myself so that this is something that does not go any further, and that maybe this is something that somebody else might, I don't know, but the reason that I'm doing this right now is because I really want to hold myself accountable. And the last 2 days I've been so proud of myself for doing these live streams, but I've been feeding off of it. I've been letting it go to my head. And really though, like, not to like be too hard on myself, but if that goes to my head, like if having 2 people watch my live stream and say, oh my gosh, like you're funny, or wow, whatever, like if that makes me think I'm like, that's really, like, I need to keep myself in check. And I really am exaggerating a little bit, but not a lot. I think I'm human just like everybody else. And that is a true statement. And it may be a fairly simple, like, it might be just kind of like, well, yeah, but there's a lot in that. Like, that's like a, not just, like, well, yeah, like, obviously, like, you're human, everybody's human. But finding my identity in Christ and really learning, getting to know who I really am. It's really hard when most things in life are this or that. Most things in life are black and white. Most people are either good or bad, talkative or quiet, introvert or extrovert, always on time or running late and not unreliable, just, it's like, how it's so difficult to be, anything beyond that. And I don't really know how to even begin to do that, but I know that it's part of it is recognizing days like today when I just felt like something was off. And it wasn't because I felt bad about myself. It was because I felt this, and I'm sure it was a little more gradual. Like, I don't think it happened like boom today, but I mean, it's been over the last few days. But like, my whole focus turned outward, you know? And I was, like I said, even if it was just like me being nice to somebody, it was because I recognized that they were hurting, or they were, you know, I mean, I was focusing on them because I had gradually been turning away from my own, from me, which is what I needed to be focusing on, or really God more than anything, but like even my relationship with God, even other people, like, you know, just anything besides this and him, you know. And well, you don't know, but I'm just trying to I just know that the way I felt today, there was no way that I was going to do a live stream, because that's part of it, is the whole, I don't want to show my face when I feel like these are the days, like, I don't feel good about myself. These are the days that I absolutely, of all the days that I should do these, it's days like today. Because who am I to come on here and talk about things like I know things? Yes, I'm sharing my experience, strength, and hope. Yes, I'm sharing my testimony. Yes, I'm, you know, being transparent with people about my struggles and like where I've came from and what God's doing in my life and everything. And that's great. But I'm doing it in a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I'm not doing it from a place of humility. I don't think I am. I think that I'm doing it from a place of, this is where God brought me, so now I can talk about it. Maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but the thing about that is, if I am thinking too much into it, at least it's in that direction. At least I'm worrying too much that I might be giving myself too much confidence or whatever. At least I know I'm doing that and not the opposite, and fooling myself into thinking that I'm doing this for him or I'm doing it for other people, and really it's just, you know, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like, superficially stroking my ego, you know. I just think it's really important that I continue to treat these small little, because when it comes to like God, and when it comes to like his goodness and his love and his, all those things, like these revelations that I get are like huge, and they're amazing, and they're so exciting. And I'm like, I love to get these, just, you know, like moments of like epiphanies of like how, like a whole new level of understanding a little bit more of like the magnitude of how amazing he is. And it's so beautiful. But when it's the same thing, but like the opposite, when it's like the part of me, like those revelations where I'm like, oh, you know, like, that's part of it too. I think those are just as necessary. Like, it's just, I guess, I don't know. I just know that the main, I don't even really felt like I felt like the only thing I needed to do was come on here, because for one thing, this is 3 days in a row that I've done it, and that's not a lot, that's not a huge accomplishment, but it's a start. And I'm proud of myself for that. And maybe I'll keep, you know, doing this consistently. I hope that if I decide that I'm going to, I'm going to. And I think I'm going to decide that I'm going to. How about this, guys? I know you can't like comment and stuff right now because I think I have the comments off. But after this, like go back and comment and like tell me if you think, be like, cheer me on, because I just talked about how I don't want to boost my ego and stuff. So go on there and tell me how awesome I am and how you want to see my face every day. And like that won't, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But this is part of who I am. I don't want to say this right now. I don't. but I'm about to say what I don't want to say. I have been doing such a good job. I believe I've been doing such a good job keeping a positive mindset, staying on top of really just everything, just crushing it at life, crushing it with my walk with God, praying more in my Bible more, doing all my chores, showing up for work early, just everything. I mean, just soaring. And then today, I get in the car with Daniel and I'm like, I immediately start picking him apart. Like immediately. Really, it wasn't even that, like, my expectations for him in that moment were it was so unrealistic and so unfair to him. And basically what I did was, all week that I've been being this amazing version of myself, like I just described, like being that person and feeling really good about it, it's like maybe somewhere in the back of my mind, I just thought like, maybe that's what, maybe I've always done that. Maybe that's something that's not, this is not something that's, uncommon for me, but like I recognized it today. I put stuff on him that I had no business, no business whatsoever coming in him like that. And it wasn't that I was like mean to him or anything, because it was that I came at him like I was, like he did something to me. And again, I'm going to keep prefacing this. I'm going to keep saying this because I don't want to say this. I don't want to admit that not that I am this person, but like I behaved like this. But he was driving and I was talking to him about something and I felt like he wasn't listening to me. And I made such a big deal about it. First of all, there was never even a question of, was I wrong? Like, I knew he wasn't listening to me or paying attention to me. And so I just accepted that as what it was, which was not fair first and foremost. Like, right out the gate, I was wrong in that. And then I basically like shamed him for it. And it got so bad so fast to where I was like basically saying like, I got him to bring me home. And I got him to bring me home because I said, I don't want to feel this way. But I am like, I'm mad. I was mad at him, or I don't even think I was mad at him. I think I was still kind of in this mindset of like, I'm not going to be mad at you because I'm this amazing person that I've been all week, because that's really who I am. That's not just a front that I put on or, something that I was able to maintain. It's who I am, but I was only able to maintain it almost of the time. But like, this is my breaking point and I've got to at least just snap at you a little bit. No, I was like, I am that person. So I'm not going to be like this to you because I'm not that person. So I need you to take me home right now because I don't even have the willpower. I don't even have the ability to be not that person if you're around. I'm gonna project my issues onto you and my insecurities. And that is so wrong. That is so, so, so wrong. And I haven't been able yet, I haven't really spent enough time, thinking, because I say thinking, I'm not just going to dwell on it, but I want to understand this because this is not just about me and him. This is about it's about, I don't want to say it's just about me, and I don't mean it like that. I'm not saying like it's not about me and him, but it's about me. But no, it's like my ability to handle, like my behavior really says so much about where I really am in my recovery. Because the fact that I have not thought about you know, going back down that road, like the fact that I have been so solid in my recovery, it like does not matter if right now my like I just swapped addictions, and right now my addiction is just like I'm feeding off of like this, you know, goodness that I feel. And then I'm going to tell you the other thing that I really, really, really don't want to admit. I don't want to admit this, because the possibility of this being true makes me feel so despicable. But if there's any chance that there's any truth to it, the best chance I have of overcoming it is to face it head on. And I'm not someone, when it comes to this situation, when it comes to what I'm like, this whole thing, when it comes to this, it's not something that I know that I'm not going to beat myself up about it. You know, I'm not going to be wrong and think, well, maybe I'm wrong. And I, you know, and then I feel so bad about it that no, like, I mean, if there's a chance that I am wrong, I need to face that. I need to accept that, acknowledge it, and find a way to overcome it. And I'll just tell you what it is. I'm just going to say what it is. He said, it just bothers you to see me doing or trying to be a better person or trying to do better, you know. And that was part of the thing that infuriated me. Like, that was a part of the reason that I was like, you know what? Yeah, no, I can't be around you right now. Like, I need for you to take me home. And I mean, how many times have I know this is not a rhetorical question. Like, I'm just going to answer that. I will not even ask it as a question. I will make it a statement. I have said so many times, when people get worked up like that, when people get really defensive, it's because it's true. I really don't want to think that. I really, really, really would never want to think that I would be capable of feeling that way about the person that I share my life with, the person that I love and that I've loved for years, the person that I've wanted for years to do everything that he's doing right now, to have this relationship with God, to be active in a church, to go, like, he's doing everything. He's just like, he was almost the most amazing person in the world before. So it's like, you know, I'm gonna have to go sit in this other chair, just because I don't like this chair. I do, however, really like this cool chair. It looks like I'm in a doctor's office waiting room, doesn't it? You don't know. You can't answer because you don't have your chat's not open. Anyway, I don't like this one either. Anyway, so to think that it would bother me that the person and who he is to me and what, you know, what he's like, everything that, you know, whatever, like, the thought of me actually really being like jealous of that, not happy about that, like, you know, just like having a bad attitude about it, or just like whatever, like, that's that's human, you know? And I am a human. And I really do believe that God, there will be, there's gonna be like rewards in heaven, I believe, for, you know, people that bring people to the Lord. You know, I think that that's God. I think that I know that he really loves that and appreciates that and will reward those people, you know, as they should be for that. But I think it's just as important that on the other side of that, like, and I'm just speaking for me, like, I'm really, in this point, like, I'm really trying to just focus on me. But, and not like in a selfish way, but like in a, I don't need to think about like if other people, like, I'm just saying, for me personally, I think that God would have just as much of, I don't want to say punishment, but like, um, not judgment, but just like, he would not be happy about one of his children in any way hindering another one of his children from being closer to him. And my biggest fear is that's what I could do to the person that I love the most in this world. And because it's so not okay, and because he is, not only does he mean so much to me, but him walking with God means so much to me. I can put my pride aside, because my pride is not bigger than my desire to see him be the person that he is. I've always seen him be that. I've always seen who he really is, but I've never seen him start to see that and start to feel loved like he should have always felt loved, and to be around people who just shower him with love and affection, and he deserves that. I'm not saying that I don't, and they do that for me too, but it's like he's happier than I've ever seen him. And you know, I got in the car today, and he was talking about, so he's working 2 jobs now. And I hope he doesn't mind that I'm putting all his business out there, but I mean, don't date a girl that has a very, very successful YouTube channel. That's how I feel about that. I told you I was going to be famous when you got with me. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Glad I have my ego in check. So, anyway, what was I saying about putting all of his business out there? No, I'm just kidding. So, he is working 2 jobs right now, and that's something that I haven't told him that I'm proud of him for. So, there's that. But when I got in the car today, he started telling me about he started telling me about how he had picked up some wire brushes, some wire scrubbies at I was seeing what happened is at the store, and it brought him to his second job, and he was cleaning stuff like crazy, and how his boss was, you know, making a big deal about it and saying like, I went back there and like, oh my gosh, everything was so clean. And you know, first of all, that's not typical for him to really talk about himself at all, especially not to be like proud of something or like share good news or anything like that, you know. So for him to do that in itself should have been that is like worth applauding. But then also that like he was sharing with me something that had brought him joy or made him feel he was proud of that, and he should be. And I don't even know if I acknowledged it. I don't think that I did, because I think as soon as I got in the car, I may not have started like talking bad about the women in the house, but I immediately like unloaded on him. Like, this is what happened. Like, this has happened this morning, and this and this and this and this, you know? And again, I say that to say that, like, while all these things were happening, and it's not like anything happened, but it was like all these little occurrences that have been kind of like all these things that I've been a part of or witnessed or, you know, whatever with in the house, just life in general, you know, it's like I've been in my mind, or like in real life, I've been the, you know, like I've looked good in all these scenarios, you know. I've always been not doing what I was supposed to do, or not doing what I'm not supposed to do, or, you know, being kind to the person that maybe somebody else wasn't being. I mean, like, that's the role that I was playing. And then I get in the car and I'm like, and I look over him and he's like just driving, you know, and I'm like, you're not like, I'm not going to go into it again because I don't feel like, I don't want to beat myself up about it. And I also don't want to talk about it like it's not, I just don't, like, it's not right for me to act like I'm somebody that I'm not around these people. I say these people, like, it's about around the women that I live with. You know, it's not right. Even though it's on a very small scale, it's not like I'm, you know, acting like I'm this perfect person and then getting in the car with Denny and being like, punching him in the face and taking his money. Like, I'm not, I mean, I'm not a mean person, but, the fact that I didn't even get in the car and like celebrate and, or really just like been attentive to him, that I immediately started talking about all these other, this, like, all this other stuff. It's not saying that it's not, that it doesn't matter, but like, I really like came in hot, like guns a-blazing, like, you know, and it was just rude. It was rude and it was inconsiderate. And the reason I acted like that is because all week long I've been the attentive, considerate, mature, you know, like, just, you know, I've been that person all week long. And and here's the thing too, you know, like, there may be people in this world, there are people in this world that will feel a certain amount of like resentment, or like, certain people don't take kindly to other people being like perfect. And I'm not perfect. I'm not. But if I give off the perception that I am, you know, oh, Lindsay's always doing this. She's always da 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 da, and like, you know, oh, whatever. If I'm giving all, if that's happening, it's not crazy to think that there's people that would not see that in a good way and be like, you know what, that inspires me. I want to be more like her. There will be people that would like not see it in a good way, you know? So I can't do anything about that. But the thing is, I can do something about people. If there was a person that would think negatively about me because they think I'm someone that I'm not, that would be really, really stupid. You know, like, for people to kind of have like a, like, something kind of against me because they think that I'm like whatever, like better than them, when really I'm just, I think I'm better than them and I'm acting like it, but really I'm worse than them because I'm acting like, you know, it's like, it's just the whole thing. It's like, I'm very good at recognizing realness. Thank God today I was able to recognize it in myself. The lack of it. I was like, ew, that's not, I don't like this person. And again, with me just like divulging all of my personal information or his and without his consent, but I do think it's important. I think it's important for me to just lay this out there. I really do. I think that there's a lot of, when light gets shed on these things, that immediately loses some of its power. And that's what I need. I need for this part of me, or this part of my ego that is really just kind of peeping its ugly what's it called, rearing its ugly head up. Yeah, like just kind of like, starting to lurk. It's like, no, you can't, you gotta go. So but one of the things that I said today was, do you have if you have a problem with being by yourself, like, you might have a problem. Like, that's something. And in that moment, like, I'm saying it now, like, in a like, I was like, it makes me sound like I'm like a really mean person, and I'm really not. I really wasn't like doing this and being like, you need to go see a psychiatrist. Like, I wasn't doing that. But I was like, even though I thought that it was coming from a place of concern, and I really did think that it was, um it was, it may have been a place of concern, but it was projection. So even if I wasn't mean to him about it, it should not have been directed to him at all. So it's good that if I would have recognized that that was something that I was insecure about, or having some, having some um feelings about, feeling some type of way, that I would have been kind to myself. That's a good thing. But also, like, I really wasn't that kind about it, because I was like, well, I guess I wasn't mean about it. But what I'm saying, though, is that, like, a lot of people don't realize when other people are projecting all their stuff onto them, especially when it's people that are generally good. And I don't, that's not the right word to use, but like people that are pretty decent, you know, they don't, they don't tend to think, oh, they're not talking about me. Like, this person's clearly going through something, and they're projecting it on me, and they're saying it with such a, like, amount of, like, conviction that, like, there's no way that I couldn't take it as the truth. A lot of people will take it for what it is, like, for not with a grain of salt. Like, oh, wow, I don't know how other people take it, because I'm not other people. But I know that I'm pretty convincing with my psychological, dart throwing. I'm knowledgeable. I'm very knowledgeable with psychiatry, whatever it's called. See what I mean? Genius. Like, I'm very good at making things sound, factual, when and because it's like the information, something like I have information. Like, I'm smart when it comes to these things. I don't mean smart, but I mean, like, I have the information up there, but I'm not using it in the right way, because first of all, I don't need to be using it at all on anybody else. Who am I to apply anything that I've learned about, anything to another person? Like, who am I at all to do that, first of all? But second of all, to be able to not just project my own insecurities onto another person, but to be able to back it up with some facts. Like, have kind of like supporting, like, an argument. What's it called? Like, like a like, to make it that much more credible, that's not okay. And I'm not saying that to you, I'm saying that to me. But I felt like it was really important for me to come on here and do this tonight. I did, because I always get on here. I don't always get on here, but when I get on here, I talk about how I've got to stay accountable, and this is how to stay accountable. But, like, the days that I'm on there saying that are the days that I'm holding myself accountable, and I'm happy with the person that I'm being. I'm the person that I am 90% of the time. But days like today, I have to recognize, and hopefully recognize it faster every time. Because, like I said, it's not like I was I wasn't really awful to him, but just projecting my own insecurities and issues and shortcomings and fears and things onto another person, even if I'm not doing it in like a violent, like forceful way, it's still not okay. And like I said, like I really feel like these small things or these not so bad or whatever, like it just gets worse, like the worse I start feeling about myself, the more I'm gonna, like, the more harshly I'm going to project that onto somebody else. And like, that's not, it's not okay. So I wanted to make it, I wanted to be on here when I like, I wanted to be able to bring this to light, really, because I just think that that's I just do. I just think that's what I need to do. And also, I think that it's going to, I think it's, I'm not really sure exactly how to get to navigate. Like, I don't know the steps or the things to do to become the person that I want to be. But I know that the person that I want to be, I'm not that far away from that person. I love the person that I am most of the time. But it's the days like, it's like the last few days when I'm just really love the person that I am and didn't realize until today that that wasn't really me. Like, maybe I'm that person sometimes and it's authentic and it's real and it's sincere. But, either my confidence or my, either my confidence or my self-esteem or whatever, like, was kind of diminishing or just kind of like dropping a little bit over a few days. And so, I was kind of like struggling to like compensate for that. Or maybe it was people, recognizing that in me and acknowledging it, which shouldn't be a bad thing. But like I said, I don't know about other people, but for me, I can recognize, like, I've seen how quickly good or bad things, like, I don't know, like, I want to say that negative comments don't affect me as much, like I'm able to kind of brush them off, but that's probably not true either. I want to say, like, what I would like to say, or what I should say, is that everything that I like to think that I like to think that I'm not too bad at this or I'm pretty good at this, like, I need to just throw all that out the window, because I am a wreck still, like I am. I mean, I'm working on it, but I know that I want to be the person that I really feel like who I really am. A lot of the times, like, I do think that one day, hopefully not even in the, like, hopefully in the near future, but one day I will truly be that person all the time. And I think that what that entails is, what that looks like is, there, all the parts of me that were, still, like, not healed, they will be. Because right now it's like, it seems to me like I've worked through a lot of stuff, because I really, like I said, it really is genuine. I'm not gonna say, stop saying, like I said. So one video, it was saying, one video, it was saying, I'm fine, or it's fine. And today it's saying, and, I'm just annoyed by myself right now. I'm just annoyed by myself. So, but I'm glad that I'm able to acknowledge that, and I'm glad that I'm able to share this with y'all, because I do want this channel to grow and go in a certain direction, if that's God's will. I want that. I really want that. And if it does, it would be such a shame, because right now I don't really have the responsibility on me of, like, I don't have this, I feel like it would be like a responsibility of mine to, if I had people that were actually, you know, if I was being like influencing people, I feel like it would, but if I do one day, if I do, it would really, really be a shame for me to be like these people that I feel like there probably are a lot of people. Maybe it's not just, maybe it's in different aspects, like, women that are on TikTok and stuff that have, or like Instagram and have filters, and it gives girls, like young women, the false, it gives them this, fake reality of like what beauty is, and it makes them feel bad. There, so like maybe there's a lot of different ways that people, you know, portray something that is not realistic. But like, and those people have platforms, and they have more of a responsibility because they actually have, or they should see it that way, because they actually do have people that will take that as reality, and it will affect their, how they perceive reality. That's not me. But if it is one day, first and foremost, like it's got to be for God's glory. It's got to be. And even if it is, it's got to be part of it. Being His glory is going to be the result of showing fully who I am, and my brokenness, and my vulnerability, and my weaknesses, and where I fall short, and that is how He gets the glory. I'm not I don't think I'm over, what's the word, like, I don't think I'm like making more big of a deal of this than it is. I think it is that important to me. I think that every day I want to, every day it's like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. It's like, I want to keep getting better and better every day at walking closer with God, serving Him, being a better person, having my life more together, like all these things that I want to be better at. But at the same time, I want to focus just as much and continue more and more being able to not let that define like who I am. Not let that make me feel any certain way about myself that is not, that I don't deserve, that I should not, you know, because I just saw today. I know I keep talking about it, but like I don't know how to express it. Like I saw today, like in my mind, I saw how, like how easy it could be, or is, or even like right now, like in this moment, like how much of the closeness that I've felt with God here recently, how much of that was even not just maybe, oh, it could one day, like, oh my gosh, if I'm not here, but like already is like not even for Him anymore. Like God makes me, being in God's presence or feeling Him like work in my life, or walking with me, or the Holy Spirit guiding me, like that's joy overflowing. It is. But how much of the joy that I'm feeling on a daily basis is a result of, I walked with God a little bit. He kind of showed me, kind of got me on the right track. And now that's just kind of my, like I feel good about, just doing those things, or, it's like, it has to be about Him all the time. It has to be about Him all the time. Not just with words, because, and even me admitting these things on here, I feel like that's good. I feel like that's, it's important, and it could be effective, and it could be effective as far as keeping myself humble, and not, and really seeing, myself, whatever. But I'm gonna say whatever, but but even that, you know, he knows our hearts always. Even when he knows my heart, even when I don't. He knew days ago before I did that I was losing my way, that I was going through these motions, that I was so proud of myself for like deepening my relationship with him and just really just, basking in his light and love and, like just, I was on fire for him, like, and he felt days ago, and I know now how it must feel to him because I feel that way today. I was like, ew, stop. Like, that's not real. Like, you're fake. You are letting this go to your head. You are losing sight of God, losing that connection to him, and you're feeling, and it feels the same. The feeling of that joy, it feels the same when you're getting it off of, like, when you're getting joy from being this person that you think this fake version of you. And I'm saying you, but I mean me, like I'm like, I see myself in this phone right now. Like I see me and I'm like talking to me. Because I need to hear this. And I heard it from him today. It was like, I don't know how you guys, and that's something that I would like for you guys, share in the comment. I would love to know, how people, because I know it's different for everybody. Like, how does God speak to you? How do you hear his voice? How do you recognize it? Because for me, it's all the things that it's even things that I've said that they just start, boom, boom, one after another, just in my head. Because not only is it was truth then. It was true when I said it. But I was preaching it to somebody else. And so it's the truth that I was trying to, dish out to everybody else, that God put right back on me. He brought it all back, like boom, like it's on you now. But he also did it in a way that, and he doesn't have to do this. I felt it. You're a hypocrite, this is the food that you've been shoving in everybody else's mouth. Now you eat it, and he does it a lot more delicately than me. Maybe that's one reason that I hear when he speaks to me, when it's me being reprimanded, it's my words, that's how I hear it, because he is a lot more gentle, I think, because he's a lot more understanding and kind. And I'm like, he deserves better than that, though. He's not going to be forceful and be like, you need to make everything about me. Like, that's not how God is. I don't think. To me, that's not how God is. To me, he's like, well, I mean, yeah, you kind of did lose your way. Like you were, I could tell that your heart was on fire for me, and you were, it was beautiful. But then, like, it very quickly, very subtly, I felt the shift, and I felt you kind of retract your heart and turn your eyes from me, and you were still going through the same motions, but that distance between us was just growing more and more. And I just hate that, because I want you, that's how I feel like that's how God looks at it. Like, he's just loving and kind and gentle, and he wants us to see the error in our ways. But even then, it's really more for us, but I'm like, no, God, you deserve better than that. And like, the voice I hear in my head is me being like, you need to, like, now, like, stop. Not for me, for him, for using his name, even for using him as a, like, using his name. It's almost like, to me, like, I feel like I kind of was using it in vain, if I'm getting like a false sense of, like, you know um just feeling good about myself, when I should always be feeling good about him. And so I think that's enough. I think I can stop for tonight. I don't, like I said, I don't want to beat myself up about it. I definitely don't, well, I say I definitely, you're going to think about me what you want to think about me. If anything, if you see me as the worst version of myself, or if I've really made this far more exaggerating than it really is, it's okay, because then I'll get my point across, and maybe it can resonate with somebody, and maybe they can just, even if it's not something that you possess, these things are not things that you possess, or behavior that's not typical to you, maybe it just kind of be in the back of your mind, so that if it ever could happen, you are able to like recognize it and stop it before it's even a thing. I'm not this horrible person. I'm not, you know, I'm not really like, I don't mistreat the people that I love. I'm not like, but it's just those small things become those big things, I believe. And I've been saying, I don't know, I want to know what direction to take this channel, but I think that this is all along, this is the heart of what this channel, I always wanted it and intended it to be, is seeing the full, good and bad of a person, this person, and me being willing to lay that out there, if that's what it would be for somebody to see something in me, in my mistakes, and in my, like the good and the bad, how God's, all the ways he didn't fail me, and he's, all the good things he's done for me, and like all the things that all the mistakes that I've made, and the journey that I've been through, and like, just all of that, like that's what this page ultimately was, I wanted it to be. And so this is one of the only times that I really was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go on there and talk about it, because I knew, there's been a lot of times I was like, well, I didn't really know what direction, I'm just in that kind of elation. And it's not elation night. I was like, I know I'm going to stay on task. I know I'm going to stay focused on what I need to talk about, because it's all I can think about. And really, all I can think about is just shame on me. I feel better now. I feel like that weight has been lifted. I feel like a small sense of accomplishment that I was consistent, even if it was just one more day of doing these live streams. I think I'm gonna try to stay on a streak here. I think I'm gonna try to do this every day, and it doesn't have to be for a long time, but just I think that I just think I should. I think I should, and for a lot of reasons, for a few good reasons. So with that, I'm going to go. If you watch this, or if you watch on the replay, or if you even catch a little bit of this, I hope that you can appreciate, I hope that you're able to kind of pick up on what I'm putting down, and see it as like, it's okay to admit when, like, we're all human. We all, that's something that was a really hard pill for me to swallow, this whole me being a human thing. I was like, ugh, I'm not like them, but the fact is, the longer I stayed in that, living that lie, and I didn't really believe I wasn't human. But the more time and effort I spent trying to believe that I was in some way different or better than the people that I was just like, oh, like these humans, the longer I tried to run from, or not acknowledge the fact that I was indeed just as much human as everybody else, the more it kept, the worse, like, the more it was not even, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. It really is late. It's almost 11 o'clock, and I did want to make some jewelry, but I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to because I'm tired. But I feel good about this. I feel good about talking about all the ways that I feel bad right now. Thank you for watching. Click the like button, please. Don't worry. I know I talked a lot about my ego, but I promise you, if you subscribe to my channel, it's not going to go to my head. But please do. If you don't, it's going to really hurt my feeling, and I'm going to lose a lot of the sense of my self-worth, and, my self-esteem is going to drop. I'm just kidding. That's not true. All right. I'm super tired. Jesus loves you guys, and I do too. And I will see you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and say it tomorrow. I'm gonna make that commitment, and you know, and I'm gonna trust that I will honor it. I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night. Yeah. Bye.